Hi, my name is Nalani Butler, and I'm with BBPC Events here to spotlight one of the featured authors for South Carolina Book Lovers Expo. Here we have J. Anthony Simmons.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm
Good to
doing
be
well.
here.
How about yourself?
Good. I'm great. Super.
Good. Well, it's good to have you here, and I'm excited to get to know about you a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm not only an author. I started out in the music world. I'm a musician. I'm a producer. I'm a singer and a songwriter. And of course, I'm an author and an actor.
Nice. It seems like you have a lot of things going on. So, what brought you into the writing world?
Well, I felt like everybody has a story of their life to tell. And I think that if everybody wanted to write a book, uh, and this is what I used to give people as encouragement, I will always, what inspired me is that I knew that I can write something about myself every day for 365 days, and I could have 365 pages of a book, of a story of my life. So
Hmm.
to kind of inspire me about the things that I've been through concerning my livelihood, just growing up as a kid, and what inspired me to write the particular book, Mentality, What Women Need to Know About Men, is that it was just the story of my life and about relationships. And I felt like I can convey some things of encouragement to people that needed help in certain areas of their relationship. So
Hmm.
that's what inspired me to write it. Yeah.
All right, so that's your first book, about relationships, you said. Can you tell me a little bit about your work?
Well, yeah, sure. Like, for instance, it's really what women need to know about men, because I felt like a lot of women that wrote about men couldn't really tell you or convey to you thoroughly about what men really go through. It's just like I couldn't really tell you about yourself, you know what I mean, as a woman. So I felt like I needed to furtherly expound on what were really experiencing, because a lot of men, they don't really express themselves. They keep a lot of things in, and women are super expressive and they're emotional. So I felt like I needed to bring it more out concerning men and what they really deal with on a daily life, basis.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, it is also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, so that's pretty on
Oh
point.
wow,
Yeah.
super.
Um, Sorry, were you gonna say something?
Oh yeah, and one of the major, should I say, synopsis of the book is what love is underrated and it's incorrectly defined, and that's one of the themes that I talk about in the book. In probably every chapter, I kind of delve back into it, because I feel like love is underrated, because I think the most of the things that people experience in this world is infatuation over love.
Mm.
And this is why, and this is what I convey to people, because I think that a lot of women are pushing carriages by themselves because they were super ignited by what the man said to them, and whispered in their ear, and they were in it for the moment. But when reality set in, they were the ones left with the carriage, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
And I think it's unfair that a lot of women are left by themselves because of men out there. Just really, men are hunters. They're hunters, so they're really not loyal, and to an extent. And I was trying to convey to the women in the book as well. I don't want to give all the excuses, but
Yeah.
convey to them that uh, at the end of the day, if a man does not love you from your in uh, interior instead of the exterior, he doesn't really love you, because it starts that, because in time things are going to change.
Hmm.
Outer appearance is going to change. So that's why I say real love is not truly defined. It's underrated, and it's not defined the right way. And I know Webster's dictionary have it, but I think that love is an experience, not an expression.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. So this is your first work. Do you have any other works that you're working on?
Yeah, I do. I have another book that I'm working on. I'm going to really take more time with this one. The book that what we're talking about right now, which is Mentality. I had dragged this along a little bit, and then it was like in a matter of 3 days I just finished it, and I was so far gone when I didn't really put my everything into it at the first time, because I was doing so many other things. But I said, well, let me finish this book. So I probably lost about 2 or 3 days of sleep, and I got this book done. And the other book is really kind of It's like another, I would say another, how can I say it? I want to say another whole situation from this book mentality, but it's talking about love, but in a different perspective from a church scene thing, the things that I've experienced as a musician. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's kind of expounding from mentality, what women need to know about men. So
Interesting. So is it going to be a part of the same series or a completely different project in its own?
it's going to be a completely project in itself, but it will be expounding and delving into relationships, but from another perspective. And it's really going to be kind of like talking about the women, because it's sort of like I want to kind of give the title, but I don't want to do that right now. But it has something to do with my piano experiences and women that wanted music lessons, but they really didn't want music lessons, if you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Kind of like, so I'm always getting close to say it, but I don't want to say it right now. But it's pretty good. It's really good. It's more like a um tell all thing
Hmm.
concerning what happened with the churches and the relationships and the toxicity of religiosity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a love story as well.
Nice. Well, they sound like interesting reads. And I heard you're currently on a book tour, sharing about your first work. So how has that been?
How is my first one? I'm sorry. How
Yes, the book
something
tour.
time?
The book tour for your first book.
Oh yeah, yeah. The first book tour, it's been going really great. It's been going really great. And what I like about it is that there were different views, and I got to talk to a lot of ladies, of course, and their views on it and how they were interested in the different chapters and how I gave them the breakdown about different things. Like, for instance, I have in my book, Men Have Hearts Too. And they were interested in that because a lot of people, a lot of women say that they don't really understand their man, and the relationship is work. It takes a lot of work to understand each other because you got two different people coming together. So and on this tour, it was just exciting for me to kind of expound on that, to give these people a different understanding, because you got different people from all walks of life that are interested. And it's amazing how many lives you can impact even through a book tour. It's just amazing to me. I found it fascinating.
Yeah, and I imagine the conversations are really interesting in terms of like sharing those perspectives and trading them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
I'm interested to hear about your writing process and kind of what you feel like are your strengths as a writer, and maybe your weaknesses.
Uh, well, my strengths. Let me start with the strengths as a writer. Um, I had the advantage because I like writing poetry, and of course, I'm a songwriter.
Hmm.
Uh, so I know how to tell a story. But this book was really a reality for me, and I went the university that I went to. They always taught me how to. You know what? Don't even think about it. Just randomly write down all your thoughts, everything that comes to your mind. Just write it down. It doesn't even have to be in sequence. It don't even have to make any sense. Everything that comes to your mind. It was like a strategy for writing, but it was just like on scrap paper, just writing everything that comes to your mind. And that's what I did. And I got a lot of key elements from doing that, like, because it was like, this is how I think, so let me put this all later in the right perspective. So you know how you put stuff on scratch paper, you're working out a mathematical problem and you got to give the answer, but before the answer, pre-adventure, you're writing down a bunch of things on scrap, trying to figure out the issue or whatever. So basically, after I finished that, after the paradox and the enigmas, I came together with a solution. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it was like, that was my strategy. That's how I had to think, because I like math. I used to, kind of put together numbers. I can see a billboard, and the billboard say, my foot hurts. I would take the letters I would count all the letters out of the three words, and I would make a mathematical problem out of it, because there was three words, my foot hurts. So that's three words. And then the letters was my foot hurts. So I think that's about what, is it nine? Nine, nine. letters or something like that. I would make a
Combat it.
mathematical problem out of. Yeah, I would make a like a division. 3 divided into 9 is what. So I would do that as a kid, you know. So I knew I was a little special. So yeah, so it was basically me writing this book to really solve somebody's problem.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And the more I looked at it that way in the writing process, even it was no really um, a disciplined breakdown, because one thing about me is for some reason I work harder under pressure, and some people do.
Hmm.
So I felt the press to get this done, so I just did it. It wasn't a breakdown of, oh, I'm gonna write a page a day. I didn't do that. I got to the point where I got frustrated where I want to write this book. And I've seen so much, so it just came to me and it started flowing. Because some people, people get writer's block.
Yeah.
And I think that was my problem. Then when it started flowing, I got that pencil and I didn't put it down. You got what I'm saying? So, yeah,
Yeah, finding moments where you find those ideas and just tackling it then, yeah. What would you
absolutely.
say is kind of the more difficult part of the writing process? And you have a unique book or work where you're balancing like different perspectives and talking to different people. Is that the harder part, is sharing your book with others and those conversations that come from it, or is it the actual writing?
Within the writing process, as far as like interviewing people and talking to people about what they think and their opinions while
Or
I'm
like,
writing the book.
no, after, like when you're sharing your book, and you're getting
Okay.
different perspectives, because I imagine maybe sometimes they're conflicting. So is that harder or is the writing harder?
Is the writing harder versus talking to the people about the book?
Yes,
Is that
like
what
the
you're saying?
maybe some difficult conversations that come from that and sharing perspectives and things like that.
Actually, sharing perspectives is easier because the
Mm.
book is already written,
Hmm.
and the book is written based on my analogy of what I think about relationships, and also getting other people's opinion before. So knowing the origin of my writing and and relating to the origin of my writing, I know the outcome is going to be pretty good with me talking to people and conveying them about what love is from a different, because some people want to hear different insights. They want to know. Some people like to learn. Some people, they just like, no, I'm this way and that's it. You can't
Yeah,
tell
which
me
is why
anything.
I asked. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I like talking to people that are open to, because sometimes you kind of read the room, you read the
Hmm.
temperature, and there's certain people I approach, certain people I just don't. And then I like challenging people. So sometimes I'll take the people that got having a worse time, like certain couples. I always see them arguing, and I would go and say, hey, give them a smile or whatever like that, because it depends on it. Some women are with their man, and then their man might think that you're trying to you know get some points there or something. Some people are very rude, so you got to really be wise with how you approach even couples. And then I had experiences where I talked to women and hoping that I didn't kill their relationship, because some women are going through stuff, and then you come as Mr. Dr. Love or whatever. They call me Jay Anthony, the voice of love. So I come with something else, and it's like, oh man. And then there's some men that see the book and they're like, oh man, you're gonna expose us. I'm like, it's not like that.
Hmm.
Yet I say the book is 80% uh, man and 20% women for a reason, because I'm really trying to convey to the people how men really think, what we want. It's not being prejudiced against the women, because I'm not a side taker. You know what I mean? I'm in it for the love part and making things work, not a woman to leave her man and a man to leave his woman. I'm in it for the peace and the tranquility of the matter.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there
Right.
are different reactions and things, but it seems like you've had a positive impact on a lot of the readers, so that I'm sure makes the work meaningful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, is there anything
Absolutely.
you'd like to leave the audience with before we wrap up?
Well, I just want them to remember that if you remember anything from this book, and when I see you, I'm going to let you know that love is underrated and it's incorrectly defined. And it might be offensive to Webster's or whoever created the dictionaries and Google, whatever. It doesn't matter. I feel like You know, because when you come to people and you have a different perspective of love, everybody lives love a different way. Everybody has their own expression of love. That's why I say you cannot narrow love down to just an expression. Love is really an experience because everybody has their own individual experience. Love is like a treasure box. When you're with a woman, you're with a man, or with when a man, let's talk about the men, when they're pursuing, I want to leave this with them. When you're pursuing a woman, even when you get her, she's like a treasure box. You know, when you're digging, you got X marks the spot, you got the spot, you got the woman. You're always digging for that treasure because before that box is ever open, you're always anticipating on what's in that box. You know, it's a treasure box that holds a lot of gold and whatever it is. But in your relationship, I think that men need to develop that particular mindset that I'm always digging and searching for love. Yet you have the love in front of you. In other words, never quit digging for that treasure because that treasure is right in front of you. You know it's there. Always dig deeper because there's always more to learn about love.
Yep. You heard it from the love doctor himself. Yeah, so everyone out there, make sure you come out to the South Carolina Book Lovers Expo. Again, it'll be in Columbia, South Carolina on July 27th, and we hope to see you there. And I'll be at the event, so I'll definitely see you there too.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to you at the gala.
Yes, thank you for coming and talking to me.
All right. Thank you for having me. Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Peace.